Your homework is to memorize this and write it 15 times.
Welcome to the coolest, hippest half hour of fun on TV. This is Brain Stew with Jennifer Pulley.
This week on Brain Stew, fill your brain with life-saving on the ocean. We investigate the United States Coast Guard and learn how they can help us if we are in trouble on the water. Why did so many people perish aboard the steamship Titanic? We'll find out, and we'll learn about other disasters at sea. Plus, meet a man who guards our lives when we swim in the ocean. You're not going anywhere. Put down the remote, sit back, and exercise your big old brain. Oh, what a job this is. Hello, and welcome to Brain Stew. I've got a question for that big brain of yours. How much of the Earth is covered with ocean water?
1/4?
Half of it?
I have no idea.
Almost 3/4 of the planet.
Believe it or not, 3/4 of the Earth is covered with ocean water.
Wow.
Now, pretend this paper plate here, thank you, is the Earth. And if we were to divide this Earth, or this paper plate, thank you again, into 4 parts, 2, 4. 4 parts, right? 3 of these parts would be the ocean. Let me show you. Oceans are blue, right? Three-fourths of the world is made up of ocean water. Or, for all you mathematicians, just do your math. 3/4. 3 divided into 4. 7/500. It's the same as 75%. 75% of our Earth is made of water. That is the Atlantic Ocean. Can you name the 3 other oceans in the world?
Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean.
You got it. People like us use the ocean for many things, like swimming, fishing, diving, even sailing. The ocean can be fun, especially if the sun's out and the water's warm and it's calm. Whee! Of course, the ocean can be a very dangerous place for swimmers and boaters alike. So we have to use our knowledge about the water to help us if we get into trouble in or on the water. Remember, out at sea, there are no hospitals, ambulances, fire trucks. There's nothing out there to help swimmers and boaters. Sadly, about 5,000 people drown each year. But don't be bummed out. You can help lower that number if you know how to swim and you know how to help others around the water. We'll talk to a lifeguard later about water safety. Hey, speaking of oceans, what famous ship sank in the North Atlantic on April 15th, 1912?
The Titanic.
Now, even though most of us weren't around in 1912, we've probably all heard about the Titanic. Or, well, have seen the movie. Anyway, the Titanic carried about 16 lifeboats, kind of like this one that I'm in right now. Those 16 lifeboats could only hold approximately 1,178 people. Here's the deal. Unfortunately, there were approximately 2,207 people aboard the doomed ship. Got your pencil ready? That means approximately 1,029 people were at the mercy of the 28-degree ocean water even before the Titanic set sail. And most of us have seen all that Titanic footage. We've seen that some of the lifeboats weren't even full. What a shame. So what does this have to do with us today? Tons. After the sinking of the Titanic, strict rules were made that said that every ship had to have enough lifeboats for every single person aboard. Life-saving became a priority at sea. Here's an example. If you've ever been on a cruise ship, kind of like this one here, you are guaranteed a seat on a lifeboat if the ship is in distress. Here are the lifeboats. You know, ever since 1915, the United States Coast Guard has been patrolling the ocean, and it's been helping ships, boats, and even people in trouble. The technology's come a long way, but their mission is still the same, to rescue and save lives. Today, I am in Virginia Beach, Virginia, as you can see. And this right here is the old Coast Guard station. It sits right here on the Atlantic. It was built in 1903, and it was a real life-saving station. Today, it's the only existing station in Virginia. My friend Ann is going to take us on a trip through time. to see how man has battled the ocean. Sometimes man wins, but sometimes, like with the Titanic, the ocean wins. Let's go get our brain stewed. Howdy, Ann. How are you?
Well, welcome to the old Coast Guard station, Jan.
I'm so excited to be here. Are you ready to stew our brains?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Okay.
When did ocean life-saving begin?
Well, it really began back about 1807 in sort of a volunteer situation. Up in Massachusetts, near ports, entrances to major ports, volunteers built shacks and little hovels along the beach, and they stocked them with blankets and rescue things. And then when a ship went aground, they would go down and get the stuff and help bring people ashore. It was strictly do-it-yourself type of thing.
And how much do they get paid?
Nothing.
They did it for free?
They did it for free.
Dedication.
What was the United States Life-Saving Service?
Well, after the volunteers and a lot of fits and starts and different things in the Civil War, Congress decided something needed to be done. And so in 1874, they hired a man named Sumner Kimball right over here, and he got this whole thing organized, and that was the United States Life-Saving Service, and they were really organized, and they saved lots and lots of lives.
And did they get paid?
They got paid, but not much.
But not very much at all. And they set up, I guess, places where
They
could
had,
actually
save
lives.
They had stations such as the one we're in now.
Not any little shacks or anything.
Not
like that.
shacks.
Okay.
This was real.
Okay.
This was real stuff.
And today we don't have the United States Life-Saving Service anymore. We have something called the United States Coast Guard, right?
What does the United States Coast Guard do?
They do a lot of the things that the United States Life-Saving Service did. They save people on ships. Of course, the shipwrecks are different today.
Sure.
They inspect boats, and they generally keep our waters safe.
So when was the actual United States Coast Guard formed? What
That
year?
was formed in 1915.
What does the Coast Guard use to rescue ships and people?
How they did
Okay.
was this nasty thing.
That's right.
The life car.
I got it.
The
Okay.
life car.
They stuff people in there?
They put 4 or 5 people in there and closed that nasty-looking hatch and brought them ashore. Of course, to do this, they had to shoot a line to the ship. And they used, that was one method. It wasn't used that often. The surf boat was a method.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a replica. It isn't a full size, but they would row out and bring people off of a ship. You see, these are sailing ships, and they were close to shore, say within 600 yards.
Okay, they weren't like the Titanic in the middle of the ocean.
No.
Yeah.
But if it was real rough, they could not use this because this would pitch pole, meaning it would turn a great somersault and throw everybody out.
Oh, well, and what's
so
the
they
point?
have this wonderful thing. It's called a breeches buoy.
Oh, look at that.
And there's a little guy in it, and you see the little shark underneath him, but we don't really have sharks out here.
Well, yeah.
But they shoot a line to the ship, attach it to the mast, and then they could pull one person at a time ashore in that.
That is cool.
And that could be pretty exciting too. If you imagine gale force winds and high waves, it could be pretty exciting. Put any roller coaster to shame.
That is so cool, and that's called breeches buoy.
Breeches buoy. Breeches, you know, is a word for pants.
For pants, that's right. So you kind of hook them up by
And a buoy, a life buoy, you know, a ring. So you've got the ring and the pants all put together.
Now, I don't see any of these practices being used today.
But you know, this was used or drilled here until 1969 when the station was closed. In addition to the two-way radio, there was a thing called a telegraph.
Oh, I've heard of that before.
Yes, they used the Morse code, and this was so important in the Titanic, remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, so this is one that was used down at Kitty Hawk. And you just tap, tap, tap.
And again, this is a way of communicating
This is a way of communicating, right,
to
exactly.
say that they were in trouble if they needed help.
Or between stations, mainly.
Between life-saving
Now,
stations.
in between life-saving stations, they also use something, this telephone. I used to call it the early walkie-talkie, but now it's the early cell phone.
Oh.
But I don't think you could put this in your purse.
Yeah, it even has a little U.S. Coast Guard.
Right,
On there.
yes. And there it is, this little black receiver and all that stuff.
So there was a lot of way of communicating.
A lot
It's
of
just,
ways.
Today is just 10 times better.
10 times better.
So these are the older methods.
These are the older methods.
How does the Coast Guard today, how do they save
Today,
people?
we have the helicopters made major changes in how they rescue people.
Sure.
Of course, their shipwrecks are different today, too. But they use this rescue basket,
Yeah, and that looks really familiar. We went on a search and rescue mission with the United States Coast Guard.
Exciting.
Yeah, it was great. They had a swimmer, and they dropped this basket down, and they rescued someone in the water.
Coast Guard 6002, tower, quick for takeoff.
For close in and real rough seas, they have the lifeboats. This is a 44-foot lifeboat, and these can go in very rough water. They're self-righting. If it turns upside down, it comes right back up again.
Wow, technology is really improved.
Technology is absolutely amazing. So people are very safe at sea if they use good sense.
That's the key right there. You have to be smart.
That's the whole key.
That's right. Okay, Ann, you've taken me, we're in a lifeboat.
We're in a lifeboat. It's really a surf boat, but we'll call it a lifeboat.
Okay.
Why are lifeboats so important?
You know, if the ship burns, or if it starts to breach or tip over or capsize, where can you go? Just into a lifeboat.
So they put these lifeboats on ships?
On ships, they can put them on ships. That's very important. The early surfmen used this actual surf boat, and they would row out to people and bring
before
them
the boats
ashore.
had them on them.
Right.
But now, like cruise ships and things will have these on them. How much does this thing weigh?
This weighs about 900 pounds.
And you just row?
You row. So they had 6 oarsmen, 3 on each side. And then in the back, the keeper, who was the big boss of the station, stood with a long oar, and it acted as kind of a steering oar.
Kind of like a rudder.
As a rudder, actually, yes.
Okay, now we've been talking about, I mean, Titanic has been like the buzzword.
Oh, I know it.
I know, everybody knows about Titanic.
The only shipwreck in the world.
That's right, that's right. Now, there were lifeboats on Titanic.
Exactly, but there weren't enough. You've got to have enough for everyone.
So you have to have enough lifeboats to make sure that everybody on the boat
Everybody
gets
has
into
a space, exactly.
And that was the fault.
That was the great fault because it was unsinkable.
Now, and we all know that it was an iceberg that caused the Titanic to sink.
Besides icebergs, what could cause a ship to sink?
Icebergs don't cause that many.
Yeah, I would
So there's fire. Fires at sea is an awful thing. And then there can be collisions. And then war, when a ship is torpedoed.
Sure.
But fire at sea is just an awful thing. I think we've seen that recently. You know, that's something that still happens today.
But it just seems so strange that there's a fire and then they're surrounded by water. They're on the water.
Know,
and it just seems so ironic.
Yeah, but there you are. And being surrounded by water is bad too, because where are you going to go?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, there's no hospitals, there's no ambulances, there's
no
fire
place to
trucks.
go and stand and watch.
That's right, that's right. You
So
you
have to get off the boat.
Or use one of these lifeboats.
Yes, you hang on for dear life.
That's right.
What ships besides Titanic has lost their battle with the ocean?
That's a great question, and Ann, you're going to answer that when we come back, right?
Okay, I sure am.
Plus, we meet a lifeguard with tons of tips on water safety. Hands off that remote. Brain Stew will be right back. Okay, we are back. Oh, what was your question again?
What ship besides Titanic has lost their battle with the ocean?
Good question, Ann.
Well, let's go up and I'll show you. Shipwrecks. And this is our answer to the Titanic. This is a ship called the Vestris that sunk in 1928, about 250 miles off the Virginia coast. Now, there's some interesting comparisons to the Titanic. This was taken on board the ship as they are lowering the lifeboats. And notice how the deck is slanted. Now, the Titanic sank, this ship capsized. They were in a terrible storm and the cargo in the hold shifted. So it all sort of went to one side, which of course made the ship tip. And it was about to capsize or breach, and they had orders to abandon ship. Now, the Titanic was in real calm water.
Sure, yeah, exactly, sure.
This was in very stormy water.
Now, the water in the Titanic was freezing, 28 degrees.
Right.
What about the water here?
This was warm. This was in the Gulf Stream. So these people didn't freeze to death, but they had another problem. They had sharks.
Dun, dun, dun,
Not
dun.
good. But one thing interesting, the same about both of them, all the people, you know, in the water, and they were begging for a lifeboat to come back, and one lifeboat in each case came back to pick people up.
That's it.
That's it, just one.
Who worked in the United States Life-Saving Service?
Men were called surfmen, and they worked from September until June during the winter months when the storms were bad. And they were usually men, watermen, who lived in the area.
Yeah, this dude right here.
Like this, that's John Woodhouse Sparrow.
What did they wear? What did they carry?
Oh, they wore this type of thing in bad weather, and you see he carries a lantern. This was pre-flashlight days. And then he carried a stick to help him walk in the sand and also to ward off wild dogs and pigs and whatever there might be. You see it says LSS Life-Saving Service, Virginia Beach.
And these were all up and down the coast. It wasn't
These were all
just
not
in Virginia
just
Beach.
Virginia. No, they were all from all the way to Florida, from New England.
Well, Ann, I've got to thank you for all the facts that you gave us and all the men and the women who have risked their lives to save lives.
Jen, it's been great fun, and Brain Stew is welcome anytime. Come on back.
We will be back.
Great.
We will. Well, we can't talk about life-saving without talking about the lifeguards who work on the beach all summer. I have a friend who's a lifeguard here at the oceanfront in Virginia Beach. Let's go see how he is guarding lives at the oceanfront. Guys, meet my friend, Guy. He's a lifeguard with the Virginia Beach Life-Saving Service. How are you, Guy?
I'm fine today.
What do lifeguards do?
Well, lifeguards protect swimmers in the waters at pools and open oceans like we have here. We also help people with first aid, and we also help lost and found children find their moms and dads.
Lost and found children. Okay, so they lost and then you find them.
Well, actually, a lost is when the child can't find the parent, and a found is when we actually have the child and he can't find his mom or dad.
How are you different from a lifeguard at a pool?
Well, a lifeguard in a pool has boundaries and areas, and the water's clear, they can see the bottom. Here in the open ocean, it's all Mother Nature. Winds and currents, riptides, and changing day can really change the way things work down here at the beach.
You really can't see through the ocean.
Yeah, you sure can't, so you really have to keep a close eye on the people out in the water.
You have a tough job.
Yes, we do.
What do you use to rescue swimmers in trouble?
Well, lifeguards use a can buoy, and this is used to swim out and hand to somebody so that they can be pulled in. And all lifeguards have to have a whistle.
Sure.
Now, our oceanfront lifeguards, we have radios, we have emergency response trucks, and something I really like to ride is this right here. This is an ATV motorcycle, and it zips us down the beach so that we can go out there and help out a swimmer, get to first aid emergency, or just plain have some fun.
Wow, now these buoy things here, do they float?
Yes, this thing is plastic filled with air, and what it does is it has a strap on it, and what the strap does is it allows us to pass it to you, the swimmer.
Sure.
Then we take this part of it here and put it around us, and we can swim on in.
And then I just coast on in.
We coast you on in. And if you're unconscious or there's some problem that you're having, I can put this buoy around you and carry you in like this. So the buoy has two functions, as a pulling device and as a flotation device.
I know, you guys are always carrying these around. I was wondering, you know. Can you run with them?
A lifeguard isn't a lifeguard without a whistle and a buoy.
Hey, Guy, I've seen one of these. This is a jet ski. These are cool.
Yeah, this jet ski comes in handy too. We use this jet ski when people are way far out and we need to get to them fast. But we always recommend that everybody always wear a life preserver, because without the life preserver, you're just not safe.
He's a lifeguard. Listen to what he's saying. You know, Guy, the ocean is such a fun place. I mean, I love swimming in the ocean, but you know, I'm looking up here at this lifeguard stand and I see this danger, no swimming flag.
Right. Well, this is David Nash's street on 16 today, and David has that flag up because we have dangerous surf conditions out.
How is the ocean dangerous?
And what we mean by dangerous surf conditions is we have strong rips, currents, and undertows, and they are driven by the wind.
What is a current?
Well, a current is water movement, and it's usually generated by winds or tides.
Excuse me, if you need to contact another lifeguard down the beach, how do you do it?
Use my radio, and if I need help farther from that, I can call the supervisor.
Cool. Can you do that?
Yes. Stand 16, the supervisor.
This is your supervisor.
If I've got a patron inquiring as to what we do when we need help.
I see how you guys communicate up and down the beach. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lifeguard.
Guy, obviously this flag says no swimming, so I can't swim today, but
When is it okay to swim?
Well, it's safe to swim when you follow the swimmer's responsibility code. And these are on the back of every lifeguard stand. Ask a lifeguard about the water conditions. Obey the rules for your swimming area. Learn to swim. Never swim alone. Swim near a lifeguard. Don't dive. Go feet first. If in trouble, call or wave for help. Please report any dangerous situations to the lifeguard. And these are the hours that this lifeguard is on duty here at the oceanfront.
excuse me, Mr. Lifeguard, what are the swimming conditions today?
Well, we've got a wind bringing the current south, so we've got some dangerous currents that everyone needs to look out for. That's why we have our red flags on.
So not a good idea to swim today?
No, ma'am.
But can I build some sandcastles and stuff?
Definitely.
Okay.
Lifeguard 3, stand 16.
Stand 16, go ahead, supervisor.
Have a report of a woman with a cut foot on the boardwalk near your stand. Can you respond?
Yes, sir, I'm on that.
Ooh. Taking the emergency first aid kit.
What seems to be the problem here?
What's going on, guy?
Have an emergency?
I stepped on glass.
Stepped on glass?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have the lifeguard check it out. Problem with glass on the beach is everybody usually gets a broken bottle sooner or later. That's why we never want to bring glass to the beach.
Are you okay?
Or we cut it up.
I'm fine now that, yeah, I'm fine.
Now the lifeguard's here.
Now the lifeguard's here.
Yeah, is there anything we can do to help you?
No, I think you're doing great.
Okay. Well, at least you won't need to go to the hospital.
Right. I'll just rest on the beach.
Good deal.
Well, I must thank Guy. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And all the lifeguards with the Virginia Beach Life Saving Service.
Wait.
These guys are examples of people risking their lives to help others. They're awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Up next, you don't want to go away. We've got a cool kid that's going to perform a cool experiment. Don't go away.
Lifeguards tell us not to swim in the ocean if there are strong currents. What causes currents in the ocean? Let's find out. You need 3 things: a shallow glass pan, a hole punch, and any dark piece of construction paper. Here's the procedure. First, fill the pan up with water. Then punch about 10 circles from the construction paper. Place the circles on the water on the left side of the pan. Blow across the water where the circles are floating. Did you see that? The paper circles move clockwise around the outside of the pan. Why'd they do that? Your breath starts a movement known as a surface current. A current is a horizontal movement of water. Surface currents on the Earth begin in the tropics, when powerful winds move the ocean water. The water travels far away from where the winds start the motion. The surface currents in the northern hemisphere move in a clockwise direction, and those in the southern hemisphere move counterclockwise.
Ugh. Don't tell your mom you're bored. Try that experiment, or get to your local library and exercise your brain. Or if you're really bored, you could grab a pencil and drop me a line. I'm at Jennifer Pulley, in care of Brain Stew, P.O. Box 300, Norfolk, Virginia 23501-0300. I'll be waiting by the mailbox. Do you want to learn more? Well, the next time you visit the Atlantic Ocean in Virginia Beach, Virginia, stop by the old Coast Guard station. Your brain will be stuffed, I promise. My sincere appreciation to Anne and Guy for their information on life-saving and water safety. So until next week, keep that big brain of yours stewing, because you never know what you'll learn. This is Jennifer Pulley signing off from the former United States Life-Saving Service Station in Virginia Beach.
Then punch about 10.
What other ships?
3/4 of the ocean, of the water, of the Earth. Some of the lifeboats. How do I get help? I don't know. So let me go do that. Hey, I need some help. How can I tag it?
What equipment do you use to rescue swimmers in trouble?
Guy, what kind of equipment do lifeguards use? Just blah, blah. If we were to divide it into 4 parts, black mark. Sorry, I didn't tell you.